In the countryside of northern France, along muddy roads after days of heavy rain, an American Army truck, a GMC CCKW, lay abandoned by the roadside. The canvas cover had been shredded by shrapnel. The engine was still warm. It had belonged to a supply convoy recently attacked by German aircraft. For the German soldiers who found it, a captured American truck in one piece was a rare opportunity, a gift in a war that was already turning against them. Mechanics from Germany's 276th Infantry Division approached cautiously. They checked for explosives, listening to the ticking engine. When they were sure it was safe, they lifted the hood and froze. Everything inside was simple, clean, almost too easy to understand. The six-cylinder engine sat neatly in place, every component labeled in English. One soldier opened the side-mounted toolbox. Inside were wrenches, pliers, and a printed manual filled with clear diagrams. A German mechanic flipped through the pages and laughed. Even a child could follow these instructions. That was the moment they realized something profound. Germany had not yet lost on the battlefield. It had already lost in the factories. The real war had been decided long before, in Detroit, Pontiac, and Flint, Michigan, in the heart of American industry. This truck wasn't a masterpiece of precision engineering, but it represented something greater, a completely different industrial philosophy. Mass production, standardization, practical efficiency. The German mechanics began taking it apart piece by piece. They discovered that nearly every bolt and nut was the same size. A single set of tools could service the entire vehicle. Nothing required specialized equipment. The oil filter could be changed by hand. The spark plugs were placed for easy access. Every feature existed for one reason: to make it easy for anyone to fix. One soldier muttered, "Was this designed for idiots?" His officer shook his head. "No, it's designed for an army of millions, where most men aren't mechanics. And that," he said, "is genius." They were right. The GMC wasn't designed for perfection. It was designed for an army of ordinary men, farm boys from Iowa, steel workers from Pennsylvania, young men who had never touched an engine before enlistment. This truck allowed them to become battlefield drivers after just a few days of training. Every part was chosen because it was easy to find, easy to replace, and easy to produce. No rare metals, no complex systems. If it broke, you could fix it with a hammer or even a rock. When the Germans examined the undercarriage, they found a six-wheel drive system so simple it was almost crude. One lever to engage the front axle. Their own Opel Blitz trucks were rear-wheel drive only, constantly bogged down in the French mud. The GMC, by contrast, could power through almost any terrain. Its leaf spring suspension was rough but indestructible, while the Opel's delicate torsion bar system required factory tools for repairs. Then they noticed the number stamped into the frame: Pontiac Plant Number 1, 1943. One factory, 1 year, over 150,000 trucks built. More than Germany produced in total during that same period. A German mechanic sighed. If one American factory can make this many, how many factories do they have? The answer came quietly. Dozens. GMC, Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, Studebaker, International Harvester, all building to the same specifications, using the same parts, operating within one unified system of production. That was the true power of America, an industrial network so synchronized it functioned like a single machine. Among the German officers inspecting the truck was a logistics officer who had once worked at the Opel plant in Brandenburg before the war. He studied the vehicle carefully and said, "We're looking at this the wrong way. This isn't just a truck. It's an entire manufacturing philosophy. and we can't compete with it." He pointed to the rough but simple pressed steel panels, the wooden cargo bed built from standard lumber, the canvas roof made from common fabric. Nothing was exotic. Everything could be built anywhere, by anyone. The chassis, 2 welded U-beams of straight steel, was solid and quick to produce. The Opel Blitz frame, by comparison, required precision tooling and specialized dies. America didn't need beautiful trucks. They needed hundreds of thousands that simply worked. Then came the numbers. While Germany produced fewer than 30,000 Opel Blitz trucks each year, the United States built over 500,000 GMC CCKWs in just 4 years. That was 5 times the total truck output of Germany, Italy, and Japan combined. This was the real weapon of war, not bombs or tanks, but logistics, fuel, tires, roads, replacement parts, a mechanical bloodstream that never stopped flowing. As the Germans retreated from France, they witnessed something unforgettable. Endless convoys of American trucks, identical, disciplined, unstoppable, rolling toward the front. A young soldier asked in disbelief, "Where are their horses?" His officer smiled bitterly. "They don't need horses." The Wehrmacht still relied on over 3 million horses to haul supplies. The Americans relied on machines, tens of thousands of them. Horses needed food, water, rest. Trucks needed only fuel. And America had enough fuel for the entire world. By then, even the German engineers understood. Modern war was no longer about courage or tactics. It was about production, transportation, and maintenance. Their reports said it plainly. The American vehicle is not designed to be perfect, but to be good enough, and in overwhelming numbers. In a war of attrition, quantity becomes its own form of quality. Such reports flooded Berlin. German intelligence compiled data on American production, and the numbers were staggering. 2.4 million military trucks, built by dozens of companies, all interchangeable, all standardized. Germany barely 100,000, most without 4-wheel drive. When Hitler launched his final gamble, the Ardennes offensive, it wasn't Allied resistance that doomed it first, but German logistics. Fuel shortages left tanks stranded. Infantry divisions resorted to wagons. Meanwhile, American supply convoys, the legendary Red Ball Express, kept rolling without pause, powered by fleets of GMC trucks. The Americans weren't just fighting a war. They were running a production line with guns. Each supply route was an industrial artery, feeding the front with mechanical precision. When the war ended, many German mechanics became prisoners of war. Their new assignment was almost poetic, to repair the very trucks that had defeated them. An American motor sergeant asked one of them, "You know how to fix these?" "Yes," the German replied. "We've captured and maintained a few." "Good," said the sergeant. "Then get to work. Better than sitting behind the wire." And so German prisoners worked side by side with American soldiers, changing oil, fixing engines, and learning, firsthand, the American way of production. One German engineer admitted, "Our Opel engines need factory conditions for an overhaul. Yours can be rebuilt by 2 men in 8 hours." The American grinned. "That's the difference between peace and war. You built for peacetime. We built for war." When the Germans returned home, they carried with them more than memories. They carried a lesson. They understood that Germany had not lost because it lacked skill, but because it misunderstood the nature of industrial war. Germany built masterpieces. America built enough. Years later, under the Marshall Plan, those same GMC trucks were used again, hauling timber, carrying steel, rebuilding the ruins of Europe, and German engineers began to adopt what they had once admired and feared: standardization, simplification, mass production. From that came a new generation of German industry: Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Volkswagen, combining German precision with American production philosophy.